Jesse McCartney, welcome to Stockton.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having me here. Well, I mean, you know, it's funny because we've been doing a lot of these and I've gotten into a rhythm, but for me, I'm not that ritualistic, or I'm not, you know, I don't have like any sort of crazy superstitions or anything, but usually do some vocal warm-ups. I usually fly in right the night before the show, get to the venue, do a sound check, do some vocal warm-ups before the show. I usually have something light to eat and then go hit the stage. I'm not very fussy, you know? I like to just go out there and do my thing. So there's been a lot of growth, I think, over the years as far as, you know, my career goes. And when I started, I was very young and eager. I was this like 9-year-old kid. It was a family affair. Both my parents were theatrically inclined, and I did a lot of theater. I was on and off Broadway as a young kid. And that was sort of like the beginning of it all, and eventually sort of snowballed into a television career and eventually music. And I just kind of followed, you know, I followed the path that my career was taking me, whichever one it was going to be. And every opportunity I had, I just said yes. Like, yeah, I want to do a soap opera, or yeah, I want to write songs for fun, or and I never really thought that it would be a full-time career until it was, and then all of a sudden, and you know, here we are 15 years later from when I started professionally making music and from being on television. So yeah, I mean, as far as growth, you know, it started out as, you know, just sort of a love affair, something I love to do, and now it's my full-time job and a business. So my fan base has grown up with me over the years. I think, you know, when I was 14, 15 years old, putting out Beautiful Soul, you know, there were kids that spanned from the ages of 5 or 6 years old all the way up until 17, 18. So it's funny, I feel like I've actually crossed over into multiple demographics at this point, or even generations. You know, Beautiful Soul came out when I was a teenager, and then years later when I was 20, 21, I had my third album was a big success, Leavin' and How Do You Sleep, and I had a whole nother run of sort of more pop R&B music that came out. And it's funny, there's a lot of fans right now in colleges that were, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, all the way to, you know, 30, 35-year-olds who have young kids who are they're now introducing my music to their children. So it's funny, I've had sort of singles come out over the years, like every several years, and now it's allowed me to sort of cross into this multiple or multi, you know, demographic, and it's nice. It's good, you know. I get to cross over, and I get to play for young crowds, and I get to play for slightly older crowds. It's nice. Social media in a big way has impacted my career, just because I came into the industry at a time where there was no social media, right? So there was no Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. There was nothing, there was no way to really interact with your fans. And in fact, it was quite the opposite. There was so much mystique to being an artist back then that you never really wanted to reveal too much. So there's a big learning curve for me. All of a sudden I was thrown into this world where everybody is sharing all the time. It's all about content and you know, what you had for lunch. So once I learned that that was the new paradigm, I quickly adapted, and now it's the best thing in the world, because now I can talk to my fans every single day. I can know what they're thinking. They can direct message me. I can drop music in a drop of a hat. I can pull music at the drop of a hat. I know if something's doing well immediately, and I don't have to wait 3, 4, 5 months for marketing departments and all these people to tell me if a song is working. So social media has impacted my career in a very positive way. It just took time, I think, to adjust to that. Social media is a marketing tool, plain and simple. It's just a new way to, you know, to market yourself, and it's a lot cheaper. You know, it used to be where you had to buy ad space in, you know, on major billboards or television, and now your own ad space is your own platform. And in many ways, companies now are paying you to promote their stuff on your platform. So it's basically, you know, it's just a cheap marketing tool that you can use to see where your fans are coming from and what they're into. Wasted was actually a pretty quick turnaround. I had just finished a song called Better With You, which was my first single last March, and the writer that I worked with, Brandon Burnett, he and I decided to get back in and see if we could do a follow-up, and it was a really hot spring or even summer day in Los Angeles, and his air conditioning was down in his apartment. So it was like brutally hot. We were almost gonna throw in the towel and say like it's too hot to work, and then he like busted out a 6-pack of beer. I don't know if I can say that, but we did. And we had a few beers and we were feeling pretty loose, and it was like it was cold beer on a hot day, and we just all of a sudden were like, let's write a fun, kitschy song called Wasted. And within a matter of hours, we had this really cool pop tune, and we looked at each other thinking like, man, this feels pretty good. If we can get the production right, I think this would be a really fun song, particularly at colleges. So, and that's proven to be true. Yeah, I think that's proven to be true. So I'm very happy with Wasted and the way it's turned out. 2019, I think, is going to be filled with, again, more music. I'm hoping to release some more music this year. It's been tricky because I've been touring so much that it's great to be touring and on the road and performing, but at the same time, what I don't get is time in the studio to actually create. So it's a time suck being out on the road, and I'm not complaining because it's great, but I think I fell behind a little bit on the creative process because I only wrote a couple songs. I was like, we'll see what happens. I didn't expect, honestly, to come this far with this music, and I should have. So I'm gonna get back in the studio, write a few more songs. Hopefully by the summertime, we'll have another single, and by the fall, hopefully a full EP. Or even LP. So that's my goal. A lot of music, a lot more touring. I'm gonna be traveling abroad as well, touring overseas. So yeah, I'm not going anywhere for a little while. All I can say is you're young, you have time, like breathe, relax. I think there's a lot of pressure in today's society to like have it figured out. I think social media, the one like sort of drawback to social media is that everyone is constantly being stimulated, and I feel like it's built in this sort of subconscious anxiety. And I think everyone just needs to breathe, relax, get through school, get your degree, take some time to really figure out what it is you want to be, who you are. You never know who you are at this age. I really don't think you do. I mean, I didn't, even though I was doing music professionally, I was still kind of figuring it all out. Just relax, breathe, you have time. It's great that you're getting your college degree, and whatever opportunity comes your way, I say go for it. Don't be afraid to try new things and get outside of your comfort zone. I think when you stop challenging yourself is really when things can sort of take a sour turn. So constantly challenge yourself and just relax. Things, it'll happen in due time. Traveling does help. It certainly does.
Thank you very much.
Cool, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Thanks a lot, guys. Appreciate it.